What's something your parents told you and you will never forget about? My dad was an EMT while I was growing up, and I had some pretty FD up conversations with him when on occasion he'd forget he was talking to a 5-8-year-old. Bloated bathtub man and trisected train suicide guy kinda stuck with me. Sometimes it is better to pass as an idiot. My mom worked at an ER. She would love to teach me life lessons from her work experience. One day she came home from work and warned me to never put my penis in a Coleman stove. Once you say something, you can never take it back. You can be sorry for it, but you can't unsay it. Dad on driving. They'll put he had the right of way on your tombstone. Not to me, but to my mother. My parents were going through an argument and father kicked my mom out of their room, so she was sleeping on my bed and I was in this tiny fort I built, and I still remember to this day when he opened the door, looked at my mom and said that he wanted a divorce knowing I was in the room. Needless to say, I cried myself to sleep that night. When I was just about to leave for college in 2006, my dad hit me with, "Don't fail, don't get arrested, don't get anyone pregnant," solid advice. My dad told me the fastest way to make enemies is to become a president of a home owners association or go into politics. I have done both. My dad told me he didn't love me. Not really something you forget. Life has never been the same since. Crazy world. It's not one thing in particular, but for a good 6-10 years my dad would call me fat or make fat jokes at me whenever I was in the kitchen, even if I was not getting or making food. At the time I had undiagnosed stomach issues that would make me sick no matter what I ate. I literally survived on 3 saltines and a glass of water. And that still made me very sick. He knew about my issues too. I would time my snacks and kitchen chores to be when he wouldn't be in or near the kitchen, so he wouldn't know I was in there and make a comment. He still does this now, but not as often. Mom would say, "You know what I love about you? Everything. But you know what I love the most? That you're kind." It's not a very happy one, but I never met my bio dad. So when my mom was having a psychotic breakdown and tried to unalive herself by jumping out of a moving car in the middle of a highway due to infidelity on her part, something about her biting her 9-year-old son me and yelling that she no longer loves nor care for any of us leaves a mark. I couldn't help but feel like I had lost both of my parents that night. She lived and got help before anyone asks. When I was a teenager I had a job at a Hallmark store. One of the ladies I worked with was an exotic dancer. Not to be mean, but she had no chin and wasn't pretty like I assumed all dancers were. I told my mom I didn't understand how she could be an exotic dancer and not be pretty, and I'll never forget what my mom said, "Honey, they are not looking at her chin. Mind your own business, don't talk to the cops. They are not your friends. The French are assholes." If you try something new and put in honest effort, even if you don't get the outcome you wanted, you should count it as a win. Don't let anyone hurt you. We love you so much, so I want people around you to do the same as we did. I've always struggled with depression and anxiety. I used to get really bad seasonal affective disorder in the fall when I was younger. My mom and I were walking in her backyard one day talking about it while looking at the dying garden, and she said, "You have to find the beauty in everything." Changed my entire outlook on life in one sentence. She's an amazing woman. Other kids don't do this to their parents. I hadn't done anything. I was in fact a child. My dad told me when I was about 6 that if I went to bed with wet hair that cauliflower would grow on my head. I must have bone dry hair to sleep and so can't shower any time other than morning. That am a waste of space and a waste of money.